Family immigrated from China to the United States in 1990, and we came with a lot of disadvantages. We came with a lot of disadvantages. My dad did not know much English coming here. The only thing he knew was math. That was it. He just knew math. And my mom came here to study in her master's degree at Virginia Tech. And they came here with no money, basically. My mom was a waitress. She was a waitress for a little while studying for her CPA. And my dad was studying full-time for his PhD in economics. And I watched them day after day while I was growing up. How hard my family worked, how hard my dad worked to put food on the table. We're hearing a lot that the United States of America is a systemically racist country. And when we're going to college, Davidson College in Charlotte, North Carolina, just 2 hours away, I heard this nonstop, day after day. Whites are the oppressors, blacks are the oppressed. And in my head I was just thinking, well, what about Asians? What about me? Am I the oppressor? Am I the oppressed? And I couldn't figure it out where I was on this hierarchy, on this privilege and oppression hierarchy. I didn't know whether I was supposed to be oppressing people or not. And then I realized. I gave it a chance. I gave this narrative a chance because I saw this bring a very emotionally difficult message to counter. It's like you almost look like a bad person if you try to counter the Black Lives Matter message. And they bring this idea of systemic racism and police brutality into everything like that. And then I looked at the data, and then I saw that even though Black Americans commit 47% of the violent crimes in America, they only get shot at 32%. They only, have 32% of the people killed by police. So that statistic is not true. That the police is a systemically racist organization. That's not true. And then I started looking a little further, but I still gave it a chance. I was like, maybe, there is implicit bias against Black Americans, and maybe the United States, there's structures and hierarchies. They never define what structures are. They never define what these structures and hierarchies are, but they say there are structures and hierarchies that privilege white Americans over Black Americans. And the main thing that they say at these college campuses, which I'm sure many of you guys have kids in college, the main thing that they say in these college campuses is that we're just trying to fight racism, right? So I tested that, and I remembered the coverage of the Harvard discrimination case. How many of you guys have heard of what has been happening with Harvard discriminating against Asian Americans? Raise your hand, raise your hand. Okay, well, a lot of you haven't, so let me tell you a little bit about what's happening. They say, no, we can't have too many of you. We need to help the people who are truly oppressed, not you, the people who are truly oppressed. And I realized I had to write a book about this. I had to shed light on what's going on in our culture because Harvard's ideology, guys, is spreading. It is spreading in the idea of critical race theory. Do you guys want to know where critical race theory came from? Critical race theory came from Harvard University. In 1980, a professor named Derek Bell made a law review article that created the basis for critical race theory, what he called critical legal studies at the time. Basically, he said his argument was that color blindness was not enough, that treating people as individuals was not enough. You had to actually force Black people into positions of power for them to have true equity in America today. And that's the fundamental That's what critical race theory fundamentally is. Critical race theory is fundamentally an argument that asserts that you are fundamentally defined by your race, and that we live in a racial hierarchy. Whites at the top, blacks on the bottom, and Asians God knows where. And why does critical race theory exist? Why does critical race theory exist? Well, critical race theory exists because people realized somewhere at Harvard University that it came out of the managerial idea that you are not an individual, you're just part of a collective, and it's easier to manage people when they see themselves as part of collectives than as individuals. Now, this is a classic Marxist idea, classic, that if you can convince people that they're part of a collective identity instead of part of an individual identity, then you can manage them. And of course, Harvard people love managing other people. They love being elites, So this idea caught fire at Harvard, and it went into the second tier law schools. Then it went into the undergrad schools. Now it's in the public high schools. Now it's going into middle schools. Now Ibram X. Kendi wrote a book called Anti-Racist Baby, for goodness sakes. And Ibram X. Kendi is today's prophet of. Is today's best-known critical race theory proselytizer, so to speak. So you have critical race theory that makes this assertion that America is in this racial hierarchy, and that America is still a country founded upon white supremacist principles. But Asian Americans totally inconvenience that ideology. They totally dismantle it, because Asian Americans should have the greatest claim to racial, okay, I don't want to say greatest, but Asian Americans should have a great claim to supposed racial victimization in America. Their claim would be, we come here with no generational wealth. We face discrimination, we face attacks, we face hate. And we should be the definition of a minority victim. But instead, they achieve. They're successful in this country. They have the highest household income. They have the highest level of education in this country. And they show that critical race theory cannot be true. Because if America was fundamentally a white supremacist nation in which structures still benefit white people, then why would they let a minority outpace them in factors like education and in factors like household income? It doesn't make any sense. And so the critical race theory, they have a response. So they have a response. Want to hear it? Their response is that Asian Americans are white adjacent. That's their response. So their response is, well, even though Asian Americans are a minority, they're like the minority that is most proximal to whiteness. They're like co-conspirators with the white man. That's basically what they're saying. This is obviously untrue. I mean, you come from a country like Vietnam or China where you don't even speak English in this country, and you're co-conspirators with the white man. It doesn't make any sense. So the point is they really have no idea what to do with Asian Americans, so they just simply suppress them. They suppress stories of their excellence. And this suppression is outlaid in this critical race theory-based system. These are the choices our country faces right now. And I'm here to defend it with you. Thank you.